Hi guys, David Ornstein here. The following clip is a section taken from my podcast, the Ornstein and Chapman podcast. I hope you enjoy it.
You were seen as an innovator, and you were. But the perception was that clubs caught Arsenal up, and then you didn't reinvent and push ahead of them again. Now we know a lot of the circumstances thanks to your book and your explanations, but towards the end especially there were some quite brutal defeats. I think back to Chelsea on your 1000th game in charge, 8-2 at Old Trafford. People said even now the style has gone. Did you feel you were losing control of what you had built from the start?
Liverpool just lost 7-2 at Villa. Would you say they have lost their style? You know, I think a big defeat is never really an assessment of the quality of a team. And when you look at we lost at Chelsea heavily, but with 10 men, we lost at Man United 8-2, it's true. But after having played at Udinese 3 days before, in an unbelievable heat where half of the team could not play on Saturday, and we qualified. So you have always to take a little bit, analyze a little bit deeper to make assessment. Did we have were we less good than the 2004 team? Yeah, of course, but the 2004 team was exceptional because after you have still fantastic teams. Nobody was unbeaten the whole season.
How do you feel when people say, look at Sir Alex Ferguson, he reinvented his backroom staff, he made changes?
Yeah, he's right.
And that you didn't and should have, they say.
I don't deny that, but Alex Ferguson had, when you see they had Ronaldo, Rooney, Van Nistelrooy, Giggs, Scholes, when you see the career of these players, what a great team they had, and we still managed to beat them. And they had not the financial restrictions. Where did Van Persie go? To Man United. Why? Because they could afford the wages we couldn't afford. So, and where did all the players go? To Man City. Why? Because they could pay the wages we couldn't afford to pay. So at the end of the day, you know, it's down to economical strength.
Not the changes in the backroom staff, like when he kept changing assistant managers.
I feel the backroom staff we had and the environment of the team we had was top class. Ferguson renovated his staff because he himself was not a lot on the pitch. He needed coaches who maybe to change them because he got vibes that the players now they are tired of having 3 years of this, 3 years of that, and he did that very well, and I say that in the book, you know. But we had a different way to manage, and we had different financial resources as well.
You tell some beautiful stories about the signing of Ndai, essentially in a car park, of Lilian Thuram, who you changed his flight when he was at the airport.
Yes.
Can you tell me your favourite or a couple of memories where that or similar happened at Arsenal that maybe people don't know about? I know about Park Chu-young diverting on the Eurostar when he got your goal.
Yes.
Danny Welbeck when you were at the Match for Peace?
Danny Welbeck, when I went to the Match for Peace, I was at the airport. I've been told he comes down to sign for Tottenham, and I managed to intercept him. In fact, it was a funny story because I was negotiating all day. We had Ivan and Diclo to negotiate, and they called me up, and I had the agent on the phone, and I told him, look, I have to hang up because I'm in front of the Pope. He said to me, what? I said, yes, because we were queuing up to make a photo with the Pope in a private audience, you know, and because I was at the back of the queue, because I had to talk and negotiate, at some stage I arrived in front of a Pope, and I had to say, look, that's not possible anymore. I will meet the Pope now.
And you still signed him?
And we still signed him. Because at Arsenal I had this responsibility to decide in who will come in and who will go out, you know. So overall that was all right. But I think when young coaches ask me for advice now, I always say that to them, you know, you have to clearly define what are your responsibilities inside the club. Are you responsible to buy and sell players or not? Can a player be bought without you? Because coaches are given today players they don't even know. They turn up at the training ground in the morning and say, well, who is this? But it is one of your new players. That is why it is important to have a contract specified, clear, and prepare the divorce as well, because the life expectancy of a manager is less than 18 months now. Yeah. So it's humiliating enough to have to go after a short period, but you cannot come in and beg, please, what can you do for me?
Why didn't you take Cesc Fabregas back when he wanted to return to Arsenal?
Because it was a general guidance for me to have that, to make the players say, look, if you go out here, you don't come back. And it was a way to retain the players who wanted sometimes to see if the grass is greener somewhere else. I did it for Thierry Henry.
Sol Campbell, Jens Lehmann, but they were
Sol
older.
Campbell, Jens Lehmann, but they was different, you know. But the young players who left, I didn't like to do it.
Emotion, raw emotion and hurt with players. You've talked in the book about injuries and some guilt you felt around that. What about Emmanuel Eboué leaving the pitch in tears? And conversely, what about Emmanuel Adebayor, a player that you gave the career to, and then he celebrated vitriolically in front of your supporters?
Well, I would say that was not the best move of his part, you know. And but somewhere he was not convinced to leave Adebayor, you know. And he felt a bit resentment that I pushed him a little bit to go. So that's why I explained it like that. And Emmanuel Eboué, it happens that he lost it completely. And when you think, I comes on, and he misses the first pass, you think, okay, it's normal, it goes on. And then the second pass. And then you are under threat to lose the game, you have to take him off because there is no other way. And of course, sometimes, many times, you know, that people suffer and feel worthless. Difficult part of our job is we produce jobless people on Friday and we employ them again on Monday morning and say nothing happened, but now fight again to get in the team on Saturday.
The passing of Jose Antonio Reyes must have hurt you.
It was terrible because I did fight for him with David Dean, who went to Sevilla, and he called me, said, it's difficult here, the supporters are outside, the president doesn't want to sell. I said to him, I don't care, bring him back, bring him with you. And he managed to do it. So he came to us, and he was part of a 2003-2004 squad. And in the Champions League final in 2006, I decided not to play him and put Pires in front of him. He did never like that. And so overall, it was happened the day before the Champions League final, you know, and it was unbelievable. I was in Spain. It was unbelievable, that moment. And it's very sad because his parents came over here as well, you know, it was so sad.
I'll finish on a much brighter note. Did you ever celebrate properly in a way that nobody knows about? Did you ever get drunk? Did you go to the local restaurant and let loose? You enjoyed some of the most spectacular footballing achievements. Tell us something we don't know, Arsene.
I'm sorry to disappoint you. I was drunk one time in my life when I was 18. And since I had sometimes one on the border, you know, but really drunk, no. But I loved after the game to be with my staff and have a quite internal contentment and share the moments of happiness because you suffer together and you celebrate together. You have always to prepare for the next game, you know, and so you think if I do that tomorrow, I have to manage the guys who didn't play. I have to be focused and concentrated.
That's the monastic life you talk about.
It is a monastic life. It's a boring life, you know, even for players. People see only the glamour turning up there, but it's basically a boring life. You go practice, go home, sleep, come the next day, practice, play, go back. And when you play anywhere in the world, yes, you visit every place in the world. But you visit the airport, the hotel, and the stadium. Bye-bye. All the rest you don't see.
It might be boring for you, but it's not been boring for us. Thank you very much. You look incredibly well. Keep smiling and keep giving to the game you love.
Thank you very much for your kindness.